Hello. How are we all? Did you enjoy my roster of silliness? It was so much fun, wasn't it? Hello, Groot. How you doing, mate? Morning, everyone. Morning. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbirds have spoken like the first dawn. Pray for the... Pray for... We are all... We are the one. Nadia does look different, doesn't she? A bit wooden today. Bit wooden. What about that moment in Green-Fingered Hell where I said, what are you, like full of sap? Nan, mum, might be your name is. I don't know what to call my mum sometimes. Is she a nan? Is she a mum? I don't know. She's more like you know what my mum is? She's more like an old sister, an older sister. But she's also my mum. Donna Pearson, an absolute pleasure. I hope you had a lovely birthday, my darling. Morning, Rachel Dodge, Ellen, Hazel, Malbon. You're absolutely right. It is fantastic. Oh. Sorry about that. It's fantastic news about Kate Garraway's Derek being home, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Obviously, a whole new level of, she was on GMB this morning, a whole new sort of lifestyle and another range of pressures will kick in. And I think in a weird way, personally, I think it's a moment where just because he's home, in many ways, the sort of journey starts in a completely different way for them. I'll never forget my mum when she was talking about her dear ex-partner and friend Lizzie, who sadly passed away a few years ago now, nearly a few years ago now. One of the difficulties when she struggled with cancer for many years, and one of the difficulties with a lot of these extreme illnesses, I'm just going to take Groot down for a slightly more serious chat. Some of the problems with these slightly more, these terrible illnesses is that when there's a perception of recovery or remission or a so-called return to normal, it's not that people in a horrible way sort of turn away from you, but there's an assumption that life will return to some kind of normal. And actually, there's a lot of post-traumatic stress that kicks in. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if at the point that he's now home, a moment that I'm sure dear Kate and her children never thought would come, I wouldn't be at all surprised if now's the moment that, as Ben Shepherd said in the documentary we reacted to a couple of weeks ago, around now, there may be sort of unexpected and unwanted sort of, not anticlimax, but sort of, oh my God, so this is it, he's back, this is, so huge thoughts, huge love, huge hugs. It's a very complex thing. I think on the one hand, we're very happy about it, and they'll be very happy about it, and on the other, it's an entirely new future, isn't it? But in the short term, it's such lovely news. You're absolutely right, Ellery Jones. I just wanted to share that thought that Kate Garraway's Derek is home, and she was on GMB, and apparently as he came home, he burst into tears. They're not in a situation where he's sat there having conversations and talking about what a mess the house is and all that kind of stuff, she said jokingly. But she said, he is there, he is around the table. And as we saw in the documentary, there is an increasing sense of consciousness and awareness, and presumably, just having him physically back in the house must just be a lovely, lovely thing. She said, Kate Garraway said, we got him inside and he absolutely knew he was home. He's responding all the time. What he's not able to do is talk and say, why the hell is the place such a mess? It's not like that, but he's absolutely responding and aware. So they can set the table for 4 and they can sit down and eat. And that is just lovely news. And so that's great news. And weirdly, having just talked about the ravages of cancer, I don't know if anyone, was anyone here a Breaking Bad fan? I don't know if you remember that moment where Walter White is told he's in remission from cancer and he sort of loses his shit big time. I think that's it's really important to remember that in moments of sort of medical and physical and crisis, at the point that you're given the all clear, or potentially you're told you're well again, a huge mental sort of avalanche of emotions and feelings and complications kick in. Gabrielle says, more importantly though, Love Island is going ahead of Mallorca, which is good news for this household because the girls and the ladies all love a bit of Love Island. I don't. I never watch it. I get hooked all the time. But the other good news is artist, whatever you think of Tracy Emin's art, it's really nice news to hear that Tracy Emin's cancer is gone. I mean, she's gone through the gamut though. She had really rapid and really aggressive bladder cancer. She insisted on her exhibition that we went to over the summer go ahead because she didn't know whether it would be her last, even though obviously for huge swathes of the exhibition it was closed. She said, and get this, and she personally assigns the bladder cancer to smoking. And listen to this for a range of changes to her body. She said her bladder removed, she had a full hysterectomy, her urethra removed, her lymph nodes removed, and half of her vagina removed, and part of her intestine. She now has a urostomy bag which replaces the bladder. That is profound. And she says her biggest regret was the smoking. So there you go. If anyone's smoking, there's a cautionary lesson. But we are really pleased. We're a big fan of Tracy Emin. I've worked with her many times in the past. She's actually a lovely, lovely woman. She's a really good egg. And she, I think, give it another 100 years. Whatever you think of her, she'll be considered one of our greatest artists. We think she is. But anyway, I'm going to bring Groot back in now. There's Groot. What do you think, Groot? Are you pleased about that? What's that? I am Groot. Oh, okay. How are we all? How is everyone? Thank you, Nicola Marcella. Jet2 have suspended holiday flights until late June. Yeah, well, the big news today is it's one of those classic stories of we can go on holiday, but we don't know when we can go on holiday, and we don't know where we can go on holiday. So it's kind of curious watching the news gatherers trying to report this. Well done, Sarah Jane, gave up smoking. I have to say, smoking for me, the ravages on an emotional, psychological and social level of drinking and drug taking, were obvious. But the one substance I struggled the most to give up in the end was cigarettes. And the thing that stopped me in the end was we were filming in Australia, and it was before we had, so I'm using that as a kind of Alice band, and it was before we had, when they put the terrible photographs of what can happen to you on the packets, but they did in Sydney. And I bought a packet in Sydney, and Maddie must have been about 2 or 3, no, she must have been a bit older. And I saw, I can't remember what, I think it was either gum disease or a foot or something. And it literally, I thought to myself, do I want, and I thought of it from my children's perspective, I thought the reason I stopped drinking is for my children. Do I really want my children to have to sit next to me in bed, when I'm in a hospital bed struggling to breathe because of my smoking? And that was the moment I stopped. I literally stopped. I saw that and I said, that's it. So hard. Try not to start, guys, because even if you think now, just do it a little bit, a bit of a social smoker, obviously I regret all of the addictions that I've had, but as if one has control, but of all the stupid decisions I made, smoking was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I do apologise for the hissing in the background. That's my computer doing this as I'm re-exporting the No Name Sunday show, because for some reason it suddenly shrank to 24 seconds long. Sue Smith gave up smoking 7 years ago, just decided one day to stop and never looked back. So glad I did. After I had a heart attack 4 months later. Wow. I mean, obviously I still worry. I mean, how long does it take for smoke and smoking to leave your body? I mean, you hear all these sort of stories, don't you? But of 10 years, 6 years, and you sort of think, wow, the people who are saying this, is it just willful? I worry that I've given myself damage, and one will never be able to exactly know. Reem AW, it's the strongest addiction for me. I gave up the cigarettes 2 years ago, but vape. Well, I think that's great. I mean, even that is a real climb down. I mean, I know there's a lot of contentious thoughts about vaping, but I think anything that kind of gets you away from the actual smoke. It's the actual smoke. I mean, I know you can still be addicted to. Yeah, Tim, I can see your note. I mean, I vape and will give up smoking again. Stopped it for 10 years and started again when marriage failed. I mean, I turned to smoking. I mean, I doubled down on smoking at the point that I stopped drinking because, you know, we use these things, don't we? We use these things. I mean, I don't want to go into the finer details of what it's all about, but it's about fixing the mouth and the heart and the mind and anyway. But yeah, so Tracy, I mean, why are we talking about this? This is because Tracy Emin has been given the all clear. She's going to be assessed every year, but she assigns her remarkable body changes that she's had to encounter and that, due to her cancer as a consequence of smoking. Sue Smith, still fancy one now and again, but I'll never have another one. No, absolutely, absolutely. It's easy sometimes when you're not a drinker anymore to sort of think, oh, well, you know, I'll allow myself just a cigarette, but no, I must not. Absolutely love this week's Green Fingered Hell. Such a joy to watch you and Annie Dye's relationship. So lovely, gave me much laughter and joy. It is I must admit, when I'm editing it, I find myself chuckling away at it. She's very funny. BAFTA, Reese Roberts this weekend across 2 nights, Saturday at 8 and Sunday at 9. Nadia is not a fan of the old awards ceremony. I mean, you know we are, the movie fans. We love that. But even the teenagers become less of a fan of that. But I've always loved them. I just love them. Gabrielle, what was I going to say? Oh, God, I know. Cigarettes, they cost about £20. It's nearly 20 quid. No, 12, 13 pounds. Who did I buy some for not the other day, about a year ago, I bought some for someone. Who the hell was it? Can't remember. Someone. And it was a horrifying amount. What was I about to say there? Oh, yeah, no, I've been putting up polls. We've been putting up polls on the community tab. And I think it's really intriguing. When I worked with Nigel Slater years ago, we did a documentary about the history of the biscuit. It sounds a bit bizarre, but at BBC 4, we used to make lots of. I like programs, or I like ideas that start with a really small thought, and out of it you tell a huge story. And so we did sweets, cakes, and biscuits, and it was like a sort of confectionery trilogy, Odyssey. But within it, we did biscuits, and I remember Nigel Slater, the chef, saying to me, or the food writer rather, saying to me. The only thing that he believed would cause a revolution in this country was if you stopped the ability of the Brits to dunk biscuits. So I thought, well, sorry, let's ask, what's your favourite biscuit? And the chocolate digestive, I mean, I realised I couldn't give all choices, but I gave some of the most sort of crowd-pleasing choices. And did you know, Gru, most people went for a chocolate digestive. I mean, I didn't distinguish between plain or chocolate, but maybe we should do a second poll saying, of a chocolate digestive, would it be a plain or a milk? So yeah, so why was I saying that? Oh, we're enjoying doing polls. Chin chin, just having a little bit of coffee. It's my first of the morning, by the way, guys. So holidays. No one knows where, no one knows precisely when, but there's the suggestion that holiday travel restrictions will ease in June. They were due to ease in May, but they're going to ease in June. There's a belief, I saw a report last night saying that they think Europe will have reached herd immunity by July. They're going to have a traffic light system. We've heard about this a lot, haven't we? Where more countries will go on the green list. I think places like Portugal are doing very well, much better than the rest of Europe in their vaccinations and all that kind of stuff. So, holidays are coming. I mean, one of the big problems with holidaying, I think, in the forthcoming situation is going to be the additional cost of testing and all that kind of malarkey. Jet2, yeah, it's been breaking again. So Jet2 have suspended all flights. I think this is do you think this is a little bit of a, I think, their running costs are going to be extensive, and they just feel that the government, from what I'm seeing in these headlines, that Jet2 feel the government's guidance is not clear enough. I think they're probably right, but at the same time, I don't see how we can be clear when we don't really know what's that. I wonder whether the whole aviation sector just needs to be supported for one more season with a view to holidays kicking in more around August, September time. I do feel like there's a sort of dash, for freedom that is maybe a little bit premature. Don't know. Anastasia Alexandra, I'm off to Yorkshire in September. I wouldn't risk booking a holiday abroad until at least next year. If you want a UK holiday though, book it now. There's a lot of competition. Yeah, there certainly is. Holidays abroad should wait till next year, or even if not wait till next year, to give these companies, hope. Maybe just maybe autumn, maybe because the calendar, the seasonal calendar means that you can travel to different places at different times. I just wonder whether sort of maybe August, September time rather than June, July time. I mean, imagine June, July sending everyone. I mean, I suppose the other thing that's kind of inspiring us to want to get abroad sooner is perhaps all of our antibodies will be at their highest now. Do you know what I mean? It is Reece Roberts, it is other countries. Very expensive to go anywhere in England, Julie Naylor. Marcia Toms, I haven't had a holiday since honeymoon in 1992, but we go on nice day trips with the dog. I want to go on a nice day trip with you, Marcia. That sounds nice. Just the way you said that sounds so lovely. If you stay at home, that's a staycation. Anything else is a holiday. N. Higgins, I'm watching the Berlin vlogs, loving it. I really enjoyed those vlogs. I really enjoyed that. I mean, it was an odd trip, but it was a stressful trip in many regards. But yeah, it was intriguing. Brazil is spiraling. I mean, there are so many parts of the world that, I don't know. What's the answer here? You either have to say, community tab on family guest is now empty. On non-family guest, they've tried it on 2 Androids. No, it should be there. The community tab, Faith Goodman. All of the polls are there for non-members. We've had like 2,000 answers to the biscuit. Honestly, we're putting tabs up and polls up for non-members as well. So there must be a glitch on your device, Faith, I'm afraid. So you either supplement that part of the, sector, and then you set up these corridors with certain countries. I mean, places like Greece really, really, really need to, need the business. Oh, thank you, Lucy. It was lovely working with Nigel. I think he's not doing as much television as he once wanted to. We were toying with relaunching Taste of My Life, but I'm not entirely sure he's up for that. Does anyone know how Turkey's doing? No, I don't know how Turkey's doing. But look, here we go. Troubled COVID-19 vaccine rollout in Europe nears possible turning point. I think there's a feeling that Europe are turning a corner. Angela Thompson, I don't blame anyone going abroad for holiday. Greedy hotels and self-catering have put the prices up sky high in this country from when I booked in February. That's an interesting perspective on it, Angela. That is an interesting perspective because there is a real, you could argue either one of two things. It's either an opportunistic hike of staycationing or it's an attempt to plug a shortfall from the last year. But you're right, we're in a dangerous situation where, ironically, the increase in cost of staycationing could make even the combined cost of testing, queuing for days and hours at airports, landing, maybe quarantining, could make all of that cost effective, which is ludicrous, which all of it points towards holidaying becoming a very expensive and unattainable luxury for the vast majority of people. It'd be interesting to see whether we're looking at Tim Reed camping. But even camping sites have really hiked their prices. And we couldn't find a slot. I wanted to take the girls away for a sort of, just to give Nadia a break from us, really. But couldn't find a slot. There's a lot of new pop-up campsites popping up, literally. So, it's a curious one because are we, how so many things about how, say, for example, our consumption of meat and cattle and how all of that contributes to the carbon dioxide and the ravaging of the earth. Is there an argument here that what we're looking at is in a very indirect way, not the obvious way of even getting coronavirus, but in an indirect way, through the eventual increase in cost and all this kind of stuff, that holidaying and tourism, and let's face it, tourism is an industry that, there's a phrase, isn't there, vandals in sandals. The very thing that we're going to cherish and enjoy, which is where we go and visit, is the very thing we end up destroying. Just look at the beaches with all the litter on them. Do you know what I mean? We're very destructive. And so what we all feel we want individually, oh yeah, individually I'm going to be okay. You times that by a million, and suddenly it's devastation, isn't it? Just want to look at this. This has just come up. McDonald's customer speechless after finding a warning note in takeaway bag. A McDonald's customer was left in stitches after claiming to find a note in her order warning her to wait a few hours before eating the dessert. Ooh, that's weird. It said, "I'm very sorry, but this donut is still frozen. Please wait a few hours before eating." Oh, you've got it again, Faith, but didn't have content 2 days ago and all that sort. Sorry. That's all right, Faith, don't worry. No, it's... I saw that you'd mentioned it before and I wanted to sort of mention that it's okay. Another report is suggesting that COVID vaccines, I'm curious to know how they can work this out. The COVID vaccine rollout, according to Public Health England, has stopped more than 10,000 older people from dying in England. I presume they're comparing what their worst case scenario was going to be with what actually happened. So deaths are down, which is good. That's good. You know, so many things are moving in the right direction. But I do think that there's going to be a mismatch. Is there going to be a mismatch between, you know, what happens, you know, to the virus as it kind of, you know, sort of fades away, but we still need to be cautious, and what's going to actually happen, you know, to our desires to get abroad and things like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm sort of concerned. I'm sort of concerned about the mismatch between the two. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? So what other news are we looking at this morning? Let's have a look. Holidays are coming. Shops are open on Monday. So what shop, if anything, are you going to be going to as soon as you're unleashed? Oh, thank you, Charlotte Roberts. Fleur's art is lovely, isn't it? It really is. Which shops are you most excited about going to of any of the shops that are going to be left? Martin Smith, I'm not rushing to the shops. Michelle Knight, it's my husband Ian's birthday. Please can you wish him happy birthday? He loves this channel. Happy birthday, Ian. Big happy birthday. We love you, Ian. Gabrielle, I felt anxious about going to shops, pub gardens, even seeing people, as I am no more protected than before lockdown. Until I get my jab, I won't feel safe. The hairdressers, Brenda McGee, that's what I'm looking forward to. Bookshops for me, Jane M, same here. I will continue shopping online, Laura Hughes. Hazel Caldera, none of them. Tim Reed, most looking forward to going to a recovery day in Bristol in September. I'm looking forward to an AA meeting in person. Absolutely. Waiting to take my friend out for lunch, no sign of that yet. Nicola Marcella, cinema for me. Lynn Aoki, the shops didn't close here. Della Nixon, bookshop, art shop. Emma McGregor, I'm late, sir. Lucille Bolland, I'm not really bothered about the shops. Yeah, I know what you mean. Charity shops, Emma Carter, as I've got a massive box of books to donate and clothes. I mean, as we start to come out of this, I mean, Coffee Moaning is probably going to end up becoming a lot earlier. I'm starting, obviously, my counselling course. We're also starting to generate documentary content for YouTube Originals and things like that. And we're going to be shooting stuff as soon as we're out of this. So we are going to start moving some of our content around. We're going to try to keep it going, Coffee Moaning, obviously. I think it's a nice moment, isn't it, for you guys and us? But it may well come earlier, and it may well, because it's going to have to fit around. It's going to fit around things. And next week I'm up in town editing, finishing off the edit on the short film. It's all done now, which is great. So Nadia's going to hold the fort, and you know, so you know, things will shift around, but we're going to try and maintain the same amount of output as possible. So yeah, I suppose, what sort of shop am I most excited about? I think I'm most excited about, going to a bookshop and having being able to take the girls to a nice restaurant. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to a nice, you know, just sitting down and I mean, hairdressers is key. I mean, I said the other day I want to go to the hairdressers, and they were like, the girls were like, no, Don't cut your hair. Don't cut your hair. Katie Travers, it won't go. I promise you. Coffee Money won't go. Antique shops, Faith Goodman. That's a good one. Yeah. Sandy, I want shops to open. Hate that online companies like ASOS are reaping the rewards and taking over high street stores and not keeping their staff. Yeah, I know. Jane M, I bet Soho will be heaving next week. I know. That's where, well, I'm going to be partly working there and then working in Shepherd's Bush. I'm looking forward to the experience of shopping rather than the actual buying. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm actually quite looking forward to browsing. I think Nadia needs to see a doctor, Mark. She's very quiet and looks very different this morning. I know, she's my co-host here, Groot, is far more agreeable, isn't she? So look, guys, I thought we could do, I mean, I had a look at the first question of the quiz of the week, and I haven't got a clue. Hit the thumbs up, guys, if you've enjoyed the natter. But here's a little news quiz of the week to see how plugged in, which is, you know, I'm plugged into the news, but I'm not plugged into the first story. So let's see how we can cope with these questions. So these are 7 questions about the news this week to see whether we've been across it or not. Or maybe just because we've been in our own little coffee moaning zone. This is from Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot. All he says in the film is, my name is Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. Played by, who's it played by? That French action actor. Oh God, I've completely forgotten his name. Okay, so first question is, the winner of a Sri Lankan beauty pageant had her crown taken from her literally during the prize ceremony, when one of her predecessors claimed she'd broken the rules, though she hadn't. But how did they claim she'd broken the rules? She literally was on stage and she had her crown taken off. Being divorced, having a child, or not being married? Ooh, Sarah Clemmy, because she was divorced. Dawn Claricos, because she was married. Not being married? Being married isn't one of them. Being divorced, having a child, or not being married. Because she was divorced. You're right, guys. You saw that story. I didn't see that. It was being divorced. It was being divorced. Also, former winner Caroline Jury claims she removed Mrs. Sri Lanka's crown and plonked it on top of the runner-up. Bloody hell. Okay. There you go. Well done, guys. Reality TV star Kim Kardashian West became a billionaire at the age of 40, at least in the estimation of Forbes magazine. Its 2021 list features 4 self-made 20-somethings. But how did the richest make his money? Cryptocurrency ventures, food delivery tech, or self-driving car sensors? I would think food delivery tech, would you? I mean, Deliveroo and all that kind of stuff. Self-driving, all right, okay, self-driving food. I think food, what do you think, guys? Crypto, yeah, crypto, food. I mean, all of them are conceivable, aren't they? Reese Roberts thinking counterintuitively with self-driving car sensors. I know this story. Police found sacks and mailbags stuffed with 8,000 native British bulbs, garden bulbs, unearthed from a privately owned wood in Norfolk. But which type of flower were thieves seemingly after? Were they after bluebells, snowdrops, or wild tulips? Is it buffering? Let me just flick you over to 4G. Oh, bluebells. They were going to prosecute these, but I didn't realise snowdrops were in such high demand. And there was me just kind of pulling them up and knocking them about all over the garden. What are we saying? So bluebells, snowdrops, or wild tulips? I think the vast majority of you are going for bluebells. Yes, bluebells it is. Police found the sacks after a walker reported seeing people acting suspiciously in the wood. Officers later interviewed 2 men and 2 women while the landowner set about replanting the bulbs. It's illegal to uproot native wild plants and bulbs without permission. Wow. Bluebells are protected. I said that to my mum the other day and she said, no, they're not. I said, they are. Mum, they are. I need to know this one as well. The last answer was bluebells. British actress Tandy Newton said she was reverting to the original Zimbabwean spelling of her first name, but why had her appearances never been credited as Tandewe previously? Her English father omitted the W on her birth certificate. It was misspelt on her screen debut. She used Tandy because others found it easier to say. She's added a W into her name, so it's I think it's Tandewe. She appeared on our show Taste of My Life, actually, bizarrely with Nigel as well, and she was absolutely lovely. Lovely, lovely woman. Which of those do you think misspelt, father omitted W, or because she found it easier to say? So a number of you are going because, oh, it was easier to say, because a lot of you are saying it was misspelt. You're right. Though 41% of people said it was because it was easier to say. Number 5. 3 years after a fatal Novichok nerve agent poisoning, villagers near the site of the incident in Salisbury called for a ban on what to be lifted? Leaving home without a mask, letting dogs off leads, or picking up litter? Don't know this one. I reckon it might be picking up, it might be letting dogs off the lead, I reckon. What do you think? Leaving home without a mask, letting dogs off leads, or picking up litter? Which of those bans is still going? Oh, is it picking up litter, you're saying? You're right, picking up litter, wow. Okay. After 56 years, a Welshman told how he airmailed himself home from Australia in a wooden crate. But Brian Robson didn't get flown direct to London's Heathrow Airport. Where did he end up being found? By 2 warehouse workers. Bloody hell. I've often thought about whether you could post yourself. Singapore, Johannesburg, or Los Angeles? Where did he end up being found? By 2 warehouse workers. A Welshman told how he airmailed himself home from Australia in a wooden crate. But Brian Robson didn't get flown direct to London's Heathrow Airport. Where did he end up being found? I saw that, LA. There you go, well done. Imagine posting yourself. I wonder if he weighed himself at the post office. Oh, I saw this as well. 22 of Egypt's mummified ancient rulers were paraded through Cairo as they were transported to the new National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. Among them were 4 queens, but which of them ruled in her own right? Amosi Nefertari, Hatshepsut, or Nefertiti? Crikey. Which of them ruled in her own right? Amos, Nefertati, Hatshepsut, or Nefertiti? I think it's Nefertiti. Oh no, it's Hatshepsut. BBB, Angela Thompson, you got it right. Hatshepsut. It's very hard to spell. There you go, guys. That's nice to do a little end of the week news roll. So, guys, it's a bit buffery, isn't it? Have a lovely Friday. A vlog is landing for sure. One of the benefits of coming out of lockdown is that vlogging will get a little bit more interesting. It won't just be us wandering around here like a pair of complete nut jobs. A mental health chat will be going up at some point over the weekend. I'll be talking about some of the challenges, some of the excitement, some of the fears, some of the worries about coming out of lockdown and all that kind of stuff. Hit the thumbs up if you've enjoyed our natter. Thanks for all of your contributions, as ever. Thank you, Groot, for being such an agreeable co-host, essentially, for this live chat. And a Members Live is happening tonight. And some movie reviews are coming, and if you have any ideas of I can't see any interesting documentaries coming up. We like documentaries, and we'd like to watch more. So if you know of anything coming up that you think we should react, review, we love being guided by you as much as trying to guide you through what we do too. So do you tell us, we'll tell you. Let's tell everyone and do a poo. Guys, have a lovely day, have a lovely Friday, enjoy the weekend, and be careful out there, San Diego. Be careful out there.